bush.
I'm like I said,
I'm all for
I'm
it.
fishing. I'm deep sea fishing right now. I need the big fish. So I'm gonna clip it and re-tag him. But Drew, man, your account liked one of the tweets we had. You said.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They said to reach out and DM him. His Twitter DM isn't open, but I went into the Instagram DM and shot the shot. So hopefully it takes off. That'd be sick.
You can't make shots if you don't shoot.
Nope.
So
shoot or shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say something too, but I forgot. Damn.
Let's just welcome the people right in, huh?
Might as well just let them know it's episode 18.
Just get right to it.
18. Damn. Episode 18.
Almost to 20. We'll get there.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. That reminds me. I gotta make a note. I already have a guy for the 20th. He asked. He said a couple weeks ago. He's like, "Can I be your guest for the 20th episode? I want to be an anniversary guest."
Give me a hint at who it is. You don't have to tell me.
He was on the bench at BH when we were there, but didn't play. Like me. He was exactly what I did. Yeah. So that'll be a good one.
I know exactly who it is.
Yep. That'll be a good one. 18th
Love
episode. That. Welcome in Kitchen Hook Podcast. Been a long day, but we're here, ready to talk some NBA
what
finals.
You been doing, Bush?
What have I been doing?
You been grinding or what?
Yeah, I will. Well, it's been a long 3 days. Monday did workouts and stuff in the morning, obviously. Then worked all day, and then the finals hit, and then I was up all night, just like scrolling through all the stuff, just because I like seeing all the videos and interviews after the game of all those guys when they're tuned up. Like, you can tell when those dudes are tuned up. They interviewed Jamal Murray. Scott Van Pelt was like, "Come on, Jamal, on a scale of 1 to 10, how you feeling right now?" He's like, Scott, that's a question I just can't answer right now. And you could see see it in his eyes. And Jeff Green was next. Yeah. Jeff Green came on and he goes, at the very end, they're just kind of, Scott was like starting to ask him something. He's like, "Scott, I'll be honest with you, man. I gotta go. I'm not here right now."
Yeah, I'm not in the headspace for this interview.
And he goes, Scott was like, "Hey, man, I don't care. Go do your thing. Go have fun. You do you."
Yeah. You just won an NBA championship. Go enjoy yourself.
Aaron Gordon was walking downtown with the people. Did you see that?
I know. I saw that with the game shorts on.
What a dog. That game was crazy.
Love that. That was awesome. What you texted me about, the Jokic thing, and
I had some time to really sit and think. I acted off. That was off emotion, like someone.
I knew it was, bro.
Because I got in a conversation with this girl about Jimmy Butler, because I texted her something today, and she goes, "I don't even feel bad for you because you said Jimmy Butler isn't hitting me buckets anymore." And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that was an emotional tweet because I was really pissed that he had 8 points and 2 of 12 shooting in the fourth quarter. So like, I expect more, but he's still hitting me buckets.
He is, but I'll say this: that was his. You know how like LeBron has that chink in his armor in the finals against
Dallas.
Dallas, yeah.
That 8-point
and
game.
Steph has the chink in his armor in the series against the Cavs and whatever else.
Yep.
I feel like a lot of those stars that have won championships or that are like in that conversation of one of the greatest players ever, people always brings up that chink in their armor, and I feel like that that's what you're talking about a little bit,
No,
you
for
know,
real.
with Jimmy. Like that's what it was for me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Looking back on the finals he had,
He'll get one. I firmly believe he'll get one. I think
I agree.
I think
I think so too.
I think the Heat are gonna make some moves. I think that's gonna be a new team with some of those role guys. I think those role guys, their run's over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had a good run, but they really got exposed in the finals. Like, let's be honest, Max Strus got exposed in the finals. Like, they didn't show up. And two, I was talking to Max about this. Sometimes the lights are. I think it was you too. We both said it too. The lights are too bright sometimes.
Yeah. So I wanted to touch on this a little later, but since we were talking about the Heat, I was having a conversation with my guy Adam Lufkin, and he was saying, you know, the Heat. There's been that talk of Damian Lillard maybe going to the Heat next year, and however serious it is, who knows? But to me, that would be. And his point was, he would rather them add a really good big than to add a guard. And my rebuttal to that was, if you add a guy like Damian Lillard, you don't need a superstar big on your team. You already have Bam Adebayo.
Bam is perfect at that
now,
position.
Yeah, but now you can now you can move Bam to the 4. Like right now Bam strictly plays the 5. He doesn't play any 4, but you can move him to the 4, and that just adds size and adds length and defense to your lineup. And so, to me, I think it is better for the Heat to add a dynamic playmaker like Damian Lillard, who can also distribute the ball, and then just add hopefully not a average big, but a serviceable big that can get the job done to where you can be flexible with Bam.
I saw something. I can't remember. There was a trade, like an idea that they could fit like Damian Lillard and someone else. I want to say, I can't remember who it was, but I was like, damn, that'd be a good little duo if they could pull. Oh, no, it wasn't. It wasn't Fred VanVleet. It was, I can't even remember. But they with Dame, if you add Dame, you don't need to go get a superstar big like you were saying. You just go get yourself a big that can just defend the rim and get some rebounds and can occasionally not like a Brook Lopez style big, because he can stretch the floor, and then Bam, like you said, can play the 4 and do his thing, because Bam's good. He just, I think sometimes when he has to play those bigger guys, it's a lot harder for him because he is a little undersized in a sense.
Well, I think their team in general after Bam Adebayo was undersized. You know, like that was just exposed by Denver in the final series. Is whenever Aaron Gordon had a mismatch, he was taking him right to the block. You know, and sometimes they would just throw that thing up to him, like, go get that, you know, and he would outmuscle him to that ball and either get fouled or get a bucket, you know. Yeah. So I think the Heat, they have to add a dude with size that has, you know, can play defense but is going to give you big time minutes, so Bam can be rotating between the 4 and the 5s, to where it's like when you want to go small, Bam's at your 5, and then you go small after that. But I feel like with the size there is and the scoring there is in the NBA, you have to have guys that have size at that 4 and 5 spot and can guard.
No, I agree. I think the Heat, no, they'll do. I think they're going to make some changes for sure. They can't. You can't have those. You can't have like a Duncan Robinson and a Max Strus on the same team and getting minutes, like good minutes, right? Gabe Vincent was a no-show in the finals too, really, and he had a great playoffs, which sucks for him because, you know, he had a good first 3 rounds and then in the biggest stage kind of laid an egg. But I do think he did enough to get himself a decent contract somewhere, like a team like Toronto, to pick him up and pay him, since Fred VanVleet is obviously out of there. If he's denying the player option, he's out. He's going somewhere else. 100%.
Oh, is that
yeah,
what he's doing?
He denied the team or whatever it was
gotcha.
to make his to where he could be like a free agent or something like that, or a trade or something.
I got it up right here. Oh yeah.
Is that what it was?
Unrestricted free agent. Yeah.
And so I don't think Gabe Vincent will be a Heat player anymore. But it'll be interesting to see who they have, because I mean you got Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry can easily be Damian Lillard's backup. If he was Gabe Vincent, if he was Gabe Vincent's backup this year, he'll be the backup for Dame, and that's a good
that's
1-2 punch.
I feel like at this point in Kyle Lowry's career, he's a backup PG and a solid backup PG.
Yeah,
you know, like
sure.
He's not going to be that starter anymore.
Mm-hmm. But on the Nuggets end of things, dude, I think they're going to be the team to beat for next two years, really, because.
So do they have guys that could be moved around, or are they pretty much their roster pretty much locked in?
Their roster's kind of locked in. Their top 4 got like it was Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr. all have another year left on their contract, so they really can't do anything. KCP, Bruce Brown, I'm not sure, because I think I heard KCP saying in an interview saying like that's up to the organization if they want to bring this whole team back. You know, it really is up to the organization if they want to run it back. But if Denver was smart enough to be patient with Malone and Murray and all those guys through 7 years and like just really organically build this team, I don't think they'll make too many changes, honestly.
Yeah. Especially the way they ran through the playoffs, man.
Yeah.
Like they did work, and I think you would think they would do everything they can to keep the vast majority of this roster together, if at all possible. I know there's a bunch of stuff that goes into those contract things, and you get down to it, you end up realizing you have to trade somebody or whatever. So,
Bruce Brown's on a 2-year contract, so he's safe.
Boom.
Can't load KCP's because my phone won't work right now for some reason, but it is what it is. What did you think of the finals as a whole, though? Like as a whole,
I thought it. When you really look at it, like, and you looked at, I guess I'll say this. Initially, going into the finals, I knew the Heat were a little bit at a mismatch, just like we talked about, at the size and just at the production level on the offensive end, opposed to the Nuggets. But then you really watch those games and you watched them play and how the teams matched up. And I'm a little surprised the Heat didn't get one more game, but I'm not surprised that the Nuggets dominated the way they did, looking back at it and like really actually watching the games. They just were the better team, and I think the Heat gave it all they could at certain points.
100%.
But I think the best team won. Long story short,
agreed. It's just like any other Cinderella run you see in the tournament, right? First thing that comes to mind was like San Diego State and UConn this year. Everyone kind of knew after watching UConn's run, they're like, "Damn, these guys are really good." And then you watch San Diego State's and you're like, "Oh, I mean, can they battle back and forth with them? Can they withstand the punches?" And the Heat shocked me with the Game 2 win, and I thought they would have got one at home, honestly, after that.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, the Nuggets are too good, man. I mean, I think when I really realized it was when they swept the Lakers, and in Game 4 they were down 15 at halftime and came back and took the lead in the third quarter. And I was like, yeah, this team's good. This team, no one is on the same. No one left in the playoffs is on the same level as these guys, realistically.
Yeah. I want to touch back on it. You brought up Jimmy buckets. I will say, like, he was kind of non-existent in some fourth quarters, and I don't know if that was system based from the Heat. It was more they were just trying to get ball movement, amongst all five players or whatever they were trying to do, or if it was he was really kind of disappearing. But especially in that closeout game, that game 6, game 5. He obviously got it going a little bit in that fourth quarter. Because what did he end up with
in the in that last game?
In the fourth quarter, yeah, and just in the game. But you mentioned he had 8 points.
He had 8 points, and then he scored like 13 in a row. So
yeah, I know he went on for a little bit.
I think he ended with 20 something. I'll pull it. I was on StatMuse looking at his fourth quarter numbers. In the finals this year, he averaged 6.4 points per game in 5 games in the fourth. Scored 32 points total. It won't give me game stats, but let's go here real quick.
But
wow.
Just to finish up what I was saying is, he, to me, especially in the NBA, winning time and in the fourth quarter in the playoffs, it's your best players making plays.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't as involved in that as I would have liked to see.
I thought, and one thing that disappointed me was the last shot he took, that fadeaway 3.
Yeah, bro.
I didn't like that. Jimmy, that's not you, Jimmy. Jimmy, you get to the rack, you get to the mid-range pull-up. Were they down? They were down 3, right?
They were down 3, but there was I don't know if there was 19 seconds left or what.
It was even with the shot clock. So, I mean, regardless, whenever you're taking that shot, you're going to have to foul if they score. And, I understand going early, but not that early. And if you're going to go that early, don't shoot that.
But Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy were talking about it after he took that shot. He was like, you don't need that. You don't need a 3 right there. There's plenty of game left to where you can get to the bucket or get fouled and do what you do best.
Exactly.
And extend the game a little bit.
And that was something they did in the Bucks series. I remember one of the game. It was the game that they clinched the series against the Bucks, Game 5, in Milwaukee, and they scored. And then I think Milwaukee turned it over, Giannis turned it over or something like that, remember? And then they came down and scored again and ended up winning the game. And I'm like, guys, that's a perfect example of just go get a 2. Get a quick 2 there. Put them on the line. The Nuggets were struggling from the free throw line. They're 13 of 23 that night. And so, hey, they're struggling. Make them make their free throws. And then even if they make both, you're still down 3, and you can call timeout and try and get a better look.
I don't know if they had any timeouts left. I think that was one of the things.
They would have had one left because I remember
did they have one?
Because when KCP went to the or Bruce Brown went to the free throw line off that miss, when he got fouled, and they went up 5. They called a timeout, and Kyle Lowry shot that 3, and then they just didn't foul after that.
Yeah, but. One last thing on the Jimmy Butler thing is, just from our past podcasts, we've been talking really highly about him, and just of how he's. So I guess for me, my heart hurts because we've been talking him up, and I feel like we just got proved wrong or something.
Yeah. I was just sitting there watching. I remember Game 1, dude. Max texts me. He's like, "Hey, is Jimmy playing tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's out on the court right now." He's like, "Oh, I didn't know because he has 13 points." And that's what he ended with. And I'm like, "Damn, you're right. He has been non-existent." It happens. But I think, honestly, sometimes you just kind of run out of gas, too.
Yeah.
It's hard to ride that home.
And it was just, you could tell, even if like Miami did win that game, they weren't getting another one.
No.
They probably were out of gas.
And that was the thing about that game is like the whole time it was like, man, the Nuggets are struggling, but they're still there. They're grinding it out. They got the right team. I mean, I was telling my dad, I said, you have to keep KCP and Bruce Brown. I was like, those two are 3-and-D guys, but very good 3-and-D guys. They're gonna run, shoot the open shot, not be scared to shoot the ball, which you need, but they're gonna guard the best player on the court, the best guard on the court. So their role, the whole role that they had of the guys that played was just perfect mix of players.
It was, and it just melded together so beautifully. It seemed like, like they obviously they knew Bruce Brown was going to be on the ball a little bit more and making some plays for guys when he would come in the game, and even Aaron Gordon, they would put him on the ball and do stuff like that, and they just had a lot of versatility with what they wanted to do. It was cool to watch that, man. Like, it was, I would say that this Nuggets team could stack up against a lot of past champions. Yep.
Agreed.
Now, I don't know if they would beat them. I'm not going to throw out a take that's going to give me grief on the internet, but I could think they could hang with a lot of past champions and
the Kevin Durant Warriors.
Beat some of them. I think so. I think the Warriors had more firepower, but I don't know. It's kind of what we talked about last podcast. What do you do with Jokic and Jamal Murray?
You can't.
You try and do something. I don't know.
Yeah, Jokic is too good, and that's why I think. That's why I said when I said that to you, I guess you may have taken it the wrong way because I wasn't saying like greatest of all time now, but it was more of like dude, this guy just jumped into like a top 5 center of all time. He just jumped into the category of like, hey, it's time to start having some conversations about where Jokic is now, and some of those conversations can be pretty uncomfortable because I've never seen a dude that size and that slow and like just looks unathletic as hell, but do what he does.
But we've talked about this before though, dude. Like, his game is so beautiful to watch if you're a basketball person. Mm-hmm. Because his footwork is crazy, his shot making is ridiculous. I'm just thinking about him at like the block, playing with his back to the basket. It's so beautiful to watch. But then there's those other facets of his game that are incredible too. What was I gonna say? I forgot. I had a thought.
Oh,
dang, man, I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Jesus. Pull it together, Hilgs. Pull it together.
Hold on, I'll get it. Go ahead if you got anything else. Go ahead.
I think the one thing I enjoyed Jokic starting to do was he was starting to get super physical in that game and down the stretch. Like whenever he had the ball on the block, it was just like lower that shoulder and just bully the guy underneath to my spot and just touch the hook shot, creating for others. The pick and roll though. I mean, I don't know how you guard that pick and roll. That's like when you had Shaq and Kobe in the pick and roll. Like, what the hell do you do?
I remember what I was going to say. I can see Jokic, and not saying this is going to happen by any means, but Jokic strikes me as a dude, now that he's won a championship, he's got a couple MVPs, that like... Kind of like, and Andrew Luck was a different scenario. Obviously, he was having health issues and stuff and just always hurt. But I can see Jokic being like one of those guys that just drops a bomb at one point and is like, hey, I'm done playing. I'm going to go back home, live my life. I've done what I wanted to do.
Absolutely.
Playing basketball.
That's a good take. I can see that. I really could. That's
You
like
know?
Andrew, like not like Andrew Luck's situation because his was injuries, but like that kind of came out of the
Yeah.
blue. Like Andrew Luck
Hmm.
played a preseason game and then retired, and everyone was like, "What?
Yeah.
What just
I remember
happened?"
when Andrew. I remember when he came out and said he was retiring. I was like, hold on, like I didn't even know that was on the table. Like, what in
Right?
the world? But, but, and I can't emphasize this enough. I hope that doesn't happen
No,
with Jokic because I would love to continue watching him for as long as possible.
absolutely.
But I can kind of see that from him. I don't know what it is, but I can kind of see him being like maybe going a year or two more. I don't know. Maybe they win another championship. Who knows? And then he's like, all right, I'm good.
Hmm. Well, what makes me think of that is his post game interview. He said, "When's parade?" And they're like, "Thursday." He's like,
Hmm.
"No, no, I gotta go. I gotta go home." He's like,
Yeah.
I got my horses to take care of." Like that man is literally a
Yeah.
part-time basketball player. That's the thing. We had this conversation because I was helping out Trey Lackey's basketball camp yesterday, and we were all talking about that.
Mm.
And who it was Deegan Williams, Rory's son. He goes, he's like, Jokic is straight up a part-time basketball player. He's like, I don't even think that dude works out in the off season. Like, how many months to get? He's like, I bet you he doesn't touch a basketball for the next month. And we're like, oh hell no, no way. He'll
Yeah.
go back home and live it up, do his thing, hang out with his family, his brothers, all that stuff. But he's legitly a part-time basketball player, and he said it in an interview real quick. He quoted, I saw it. He said,
Yeah.
what was it? He's like, basketball's not the main thing in my life. I'm just really good at it.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Is along those lines. Is I think he's an example of a dude that he's not going to apologize about the fact that basketball is probably not the most important thing in his life, and that's okay. You know what I mean? And it's insane that he does it at the level that he does because, again, this is not a knock on him, but basketball probably isn't number one in his life. There's probably other things that he prioritizes over basketball. And he does just happen to be one of the best in the entire world at it.
I think. Well, I need to look this up because I heard something about how he's got some horses. Oh, he's horse racing. He has a horse.
Mm-hmm.
His horse stable, Dreamcatcher. That's what it is. Has a big race coming up on Sunday. That's why he wants to be home. That's why. And so they go, but because someone was like, no, we'll be home by Friday. Get you home by Friday. He goes,
Yeah,
okay,
don't
that's
worry.
okay. I can do that. But he just like
That's good enough.
he has other things on his mind that he'd rather go do. Honestly, I mean, he just wants to win his ring and then go home.
And I respect that.
100%.
I really respect that.
100%.
No, man, it's funny how cavalier Jokic is about the stuff he does and how good he is at basketball and just how it's like, yeah, now I'm gonna go home and play video games or whatever he does.
For real, when he
Yeah.
said the one that cracked me up though was when someone was like, they asked him a question. He goes, they're like, how many people are like hitting? How many people have said congrats to you and stuff so far? He's like, I haven't even looked at my phone. It's just been buzzing. He looks at it, he's like, oh my god, and he's like, I'm turning my phone off right now.
Yeah.
Like, that dude's sense, he's hilarious because he's so dry.
Yeah, and he doesn't. You could tell he was like, I just don't want to deal with that right
No.
now. Like, I don't even want to look at it.
No, I'm just gonna drink, get lit up, and celebrate with my family and
Yeah.
teammates, and that's what they did. Did you see? So I gotta
Yeah.
say this real quick. Did you see how his brother picked him up after the game?
Oh, it was easy.
Dude just
Yeah, it
like
was so
lifted him
easy.
up, and then both of his brothers just tossing Mike Malone in the air like a child. I'm like, guys,
Yeah.
you could really be some war dogs out there for Serbia, honestly, like some scary
Mike-
sons of guns.
Mike Malone was loving it
He
though.
was.
He was looking like a kid in a candy store. Like,
Oh,
Just getting picked up by two grown men.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no, they were beasts though, and it's funny because they totally give you that. It's kind of like the dudes that walk around with Khamzat Shemaev and like those UFC
yes,
guys, those dudes from where are they from? I can't remember where they're from, but just if something goes down, they're gonna be the ones in the back. Like,
they're all about
staring
that
you down
action.
like this. Yeah,
you don't want to do that, buddy. You don't want to do that.
yeah. Don't want those problems.
No, zero problems, zero.
No problems.
No issues, no problems.
No issues.
No, it's not issues. I saw. What was it? Stan Kroenke, dude, has had a good 4 years as an owner. Did you see that?
Is that the owner of the Nuggets?
So he won the Super Bowl with the Rams, won the won with the Avalanche last year. The Colorado lacrosse team won the
Mammoth,
the championship, and then the Nuggets now 4 teams in like a year and a half, 2 years or something like that. It's like, dang, man.
Denver's title town right now. But so he's the owner or co-owner or something of all of those?
Yeah, I think he's like a owner or like a big time owner, big owner, because that dude's got some money. He literally built that SoFi Stadium that the Rams play in, and then just charges the LA Chargers rent fee. Like, hey, nah. So you guys get your own. You're paying
me my money.
Give me my money back.
Yeah.
Pay for my stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
So what were you gonna ask me? You said you were gonna ask me something that I wasn't, and then you didn't tell me what it was.
Oh, it's just looking ahead to next season, and maybe who can move around and who can be traded or player options or whatever it is. What teams are kind of on that tier of championship or sniffing a championship? We talked about the Heat a little bit already, but are there other ones that you feel like need to make moves?
Yes.
Or which are the ones that you feel like?
I would say the Sixers need to make a move. They need to get something. I think they need to get a guy like Fred VanVleet. Same with Boston, dude. I think Boston should. I really think Boston should trade Marcus Smart for VanVleet. I thought about this today when I was in the gym. I was like, that would be a good fit, in my opinion. Someone needs to go after Bradley Beal. I think Portland should maybe try and go after Bradley Beal and take in that contract and give them the third pick, give Washington the third pick, because Bradley Beal and Dame would be good together. That wouldn't make them.
So Dame staying at Portland.
Yeah, that wouldn't make them a championship contender, I don't necessarily think, but I could see that move happening if Dame doesn't get sent to like Miami or something like that. I think the Lakers need to make some. I think the Lakers need to do something. They need to find a guy that LeBron can't be the number one priority anymore. He's too old, and we saw that in the Denver series, especially in the last game where he had 40 and the 30 points in the first half didn't mean a damn thing, I'm still on the fence about the Warriors. I think they need to go get like a big man, but I still think
they have to. They have to.
I think they need to get better depth, like better role guys off the bench. I don't think Dante DiVincenzo and those kind of guys are built for that system. And then the Suns. I think the Suns need to figure something out there. If not, like if I'm the Suns, I would even try and consider trying to go after Fred VanVleet too. Like, that's a good point guard, man. We saw him give the Warriors problems in the finals, and that's a true skilled scoring point guard, even though he's not talked about a whole lot, But those are the teams, in my opinion, that need. Because I think if the Bucks kept their same current roster, they'd be fine. I do. I just don't see a lot of winning out of the East, really. I think it's a West dominant league.
Yeah, I think the 3 teams in the East that could maybe get a title are the Heat if they make some moves. I truly think the Heat can continue to be good if they make a move here and there.
Yep.
Like I said, especially getting a dynamic guard and another playmaker and then adding a big. And then Boston and Milwaukee. I don't know, man. It's something about Philly. I know they're really, really good. I know that they win a lot of games. They got great players. But they haven't got over that hump yet. Like, they got beat by the Heat. Got beat by Boston. And then got beat. Who'd they get beat by last year? Or no, did the Heat beat them this year?
No, Boston beat them this year. I can't remember. Someone... I can't remember what happened. I remember. I mean, like think about the when they lost to Toronto too. They went 3 games, lost to Toronto that year. And on your point, I don't know if Embiid's really like that guy that can carry a team to a championship. Truthfully,
yeah, I think he's not like, and Jokic has. Obviously a very dynamic guard in Jamal Murray alongside him, but so does Embiid. And so it's interesting that the Nuggets were able to figure out a formula to get them to that point, because I think if you look at Philly's roster, I'm going to pull them up right now. They're every bit as good as like any other team you look at. I think maybe not as deep as some teams, maybe not as as deep as a team like the Nuggets are, but they're every bit as good, and they just haven't got there. And so I don't know what it is about them that they're continually unable to get to that next level, but to your point as well, in the East, Boston also needs to make a move.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is. I think you got to move one of their kind of 1 through 3 guys, one of their bigger name guys, whether it's Derek White, Marcus Smart, whoever it might be, and add something there that's going to get you over the top.
Because they're talking about bringing Jaylen Brown back. But there's one team that I thought that I just popped into my head that we don't think about because their guys don't play, and is the Clippers. As the only team in the NBA in the last 10 years that hasn't had a losing record, but no titles. So if they can stay healthy, dude, if they can stay healthy, the Clippers do have a very solid roster with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. They do. But you can't trust them. You literally can't. Like, we watched Kawhi go for 30 or 40 against the Suns in game 1. They sneak that game, and then he does all right in game 2, and then bam, game 3 out, game 4 out. You're like, what even happened? Like, what did he like?
Yeah, I don't even remember hearing what it was that he was sitting for.
Was it? They won game 1. How many did he have? 38 in game 1. Because the crazy thing is he went off in game 2 when he got hurt. What did he have? He had 38 in game 1, 31 in game 2. He was 11 of 20, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh no, what the man? Stuff just is. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me when that happens.
No, that's a good. I didn't even. To your point, I didn't even think about the Clippers, because I think yes, they do have a great roster, but yeah, it's a bunch of guys that. For one, you don't know if they're going to produce. Like Paul George, kind of a tangent. I miss Paul George on the Indiana Pacers.
Me too.
That dude was a dog.
Exactly.
Going toe-to-toe with LeBron, obviously, in those Eastern
Those
Conference
were fun series
stuff.
to watch.
Man. But he's the question mark for me on that Clippers team. just because he's that guy that you're gonna look to night in, night out, and it's like, is he even gonna be out there night in, night out?
I mean, this year Paul George played 56 games. Kawhi Leonard played 52. If your two-star players are doing that, you can't expect to just turn it on in the playoffs. That's not a real thing. It really isn't. And I think that's also the reason why you saw the Warriors struggles, because Steph was hurt all year. Guys were just didn't mesh well. Things were just out of sorts. Andrew Wiggins missed 25 games. The last 25 games of the year came back in the playoffs.
At the end of the year,
yeah,
too,
and it came back in the playoffs. Now, granted, he played solid for missing all those games, but still, like, that kind of it throws things off a slight bit. Rotation wise for everyone, for the guys that were playing in place of him to the guy, and then they're not playing anymore. Jordan Poole's minutes are different. Jordan Poole struggled big time, which sucked. I'm back on. I think they should ride it out with him. I think he's a
Jordan Poole.
Yeah, he's a guy that he can come off the bench for them and kind of light it up. I think that, like you said, they need to get a big guy. Their guards are fine, but I think they need to just get rid of some of those role dudes. Keep Moses Moody, Jordan Poole, and then add a big guy, and then do what they do after that. Just add the random ass dudes that just kind of can fit in the system.
Yeah, I think they have to get another big, like, not like Kevon Looney, but that can be a option B with Kevon Looney, because after Kevon Looney, it's very sparse at the big spot for them.
They don't have any because they traded James Wiseman.
Yeah. And Jonathan Kuminga, he's somewhat big, but he ain't a big.
No.
He's not a 5-man by any means.
No, not at all.
So they have to add another 5, I think.
Exactly. Who's going to win it next year? Who's your take? Who's your early take? If you were to go right now, you go to Vegas and you said, "Yeah, that's my team." So hard to tell. The Nuggets.
Let's just go with the Nuggets right here. I'm on the bandwagon right now.
No, I posted
hate on me if you want. I think they show that they're gonna be the team that teams are formulating to beat next year. For the next few years. I think teams are gonna be trying to concoct something on their roster that can go up against the Denver Nuggets.
They're going to change the NBA again. You know how the Warriors changed the NBA to make it more like smaller, fast paced. Like, if you have a bunch of guards out there that can shoot, the Nuggets are going to change it to where you need that big man on the court now. That a couple Aaron Gordon and a Nikola Jokic on the court at all times to be big and physical. You can't, because that, like you said, that Ross they just outmanned Miami size wise.
And they're a healthy dose, I think, of the analytical side of basketball, which is like layups and threes and free throws, and just putting players on the and that also mixed with putting players on the floor that understand the system, understand what their role is, and they get it done. Because, like, kind of along those lines, is you mentioned Aaron Gordon. He's the unsung hero of that team, because
absolutely,
not only does he do what he, not only does he guard the best player, the best scorer or whatever on the other end a lot of times, but he really figured out how to be a factor without being a guy that's space it out and shoot threes. He really worked that dunker spot well. He became a facilitator out of it. He understood when he had mismatches, and a lot of that's team stuff too, but he is such an unsung hero of that team. It's insane.
And that's exactly what we said when we were watching game 5. My dad was like, "They don't win without Aaron Gordon." I was like, "No, they don't. 100%." Aaron Gordon had 28 in that game 4, but and that's something that he's done plenty of times in his career, but he doesn't have to do that anymore. You know, he could easily go for 25 when he has to, but he can still give you 15 and 10, but make a difference on the defensive end and stuff. Because he is like an energy guy. He hustles. He gets the loose balls, and that's I think why they struggled in the first half of Game 5 is because he was out with foul trouble. Second half he came in, and it just kind of made the game a little more physical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the other person, we've talked about him before, but it's nice because a lot of times on teams you have one guy like that that's kind of your glue guy, that's your energy guy, and you really notice a drop-off when they come off the floor. But the other one is Bruce Brown. For me, when he comes in, he fills that role, and obviously he does a little bit different things on the offensive end, and just with his game in general. But I think he's a dude that comes in right off that bench and is that energy guy for the Nuggets, because you know he's going to produce something, he's going to make something happen. I think it's just like you gave credit to the owner, or what's his name?
Stan Kroenke.
Yeah, you know, he constructed a team, and the front office did a good job, and the coaching staff of putting that team together. Man, I think they're the formula for the next couple of years.
I mean, think about it. In a win-now culture, they made the conference finals with this team, essentially this team, in the bubble. The next year they lost in the first round to Phoenix, got swept by Phoenix. The year out, was it? Or second round, whatever. And then I think they lost in the second. That's what it was. They lost in the second round to Phoenix, got swept. Then last year lost in the first round to Golden State, and then this year, and Mike Malone was like, I'm just appreciative of the front office because they easily could have looked at us and said, you know what, you're not going to do it. You guys are gone. Let's blow the team up. Let's start over. But they knew what they had. They saw what they had, and it's like Jamal Murray was hugging Stan Kroenke after the game. He was just like, thank you, like thank you for believing in me, because when he tore his ACL, dude thought he was just wasted garbage at that point, which sucks to think, but
no, it's an example of understanding what the vision is for the long term. I think they were certainly playing the long game. And I think at a place like Denver, you have to do that. You have to build from within a little bit and really make sure your picks are good and you're bringing in guys that are going to fit your system and your culture. You know, hopefully they're, and obviously you don't win a championship without a good culture, but hopefully they're building something like a Heat culture or a San Antonio Spurs culture, Warriors, whoever comes to mind for you.
No, I agree, because like that, Denver's not a big market. You're not going to see people go want to be like, oh, I want to go to Denver, Colorado and play. You know, it's like Milwaukee, Portland, those teams, Charlotte. You know, those aren't big market teams. So those are the teams that you have to really sit down. Okay, how are we going to structure this? Who are we going to build around? How are we going to get that guy that we can build around? So it makes it challenging, but it also, you have to be patient when you do stuff like that. So like I said, again, that's just such major props to that front office for staying patient and just allowing that team to just organically grow. Especially through injuries, and through you know, those times where your guys that you're banking on to be your studs, they go down. It's like I feel like a lot of front offices would hit panic mode and be like, we got to do something. Yeah, you know, they did a good job of not doing that. But at the end,
but you didn't give your pick for who your early pick for next year's NBA champion is.
Dude, I got to ride with my guy. Going with Steph and the Warriors. I think they're gonna do it. It's just weird. They're weird, dude. Because whenever they have that taste of like, no, okay, whatever. We'll bounce back. We'll see you guys next year. So you can celebrate, do your thing. Like, I do think that losing to the Lakers kind of pissed them off when they knew that they should have won that series like 4-2, 4-1. In my opinion, that's what should have happened. But I just think that I think the Warriors are gonna make some moves. They always make moves. Even they're just gonna be another good Warriors team next year. If they can keep.
Yeah, I think you're naive if you think they're not going to be right back at it.
But they're going to have to do something to be able to compete with.
For sure.
They're going to have to go get a Bruce Brown type player, someone who can. I mean, they got Draymond. Draymond's good. He can guard people, but you normally want Draymond on like Jokic, honestly, and those types of players, not where Bruce Brown's guarding like Jimmy Butler or those types of players. So that's where I see that they need to go get, and then they need to go on a damn team retreat, send Jordan Poole and Draymond Green on send them to a private island by themselves, and they have to fend for themselves.
Have an intervention.
Lives. They got to fend for their lives and become one. Because my God.
Yeah, maybe they need some intervention. Time as a squad this offseason. Who knows?
Because Klay doesn't have a whole lot of time left, I don't think. Steph, I don't know how long Steph will be able to do what Steph does. Well, that's just people like always say, oh, he's got 2-3 more good years. Like, bullshit. Like, I bet you he has more than that. The dude is the most.
He ain't slowing down.
The dude is the most insanely in shape player I've ever seen. And everyone will say that he runs miles a game. And who was it? De'Aaron Fox. He's like, remember that thing that J.R. Smith said about Delly having to guard Steph, and they basically were like, we thought he was gonna die on the court.
He went through hell.
Thought he was gonna die on the court. He's like, that is real. That is a real thing. You are just chasing that man around. So he's got plenty of years left in him.
He'll be around for a little while. Don't worry. Don't trip, people.
No, but that's who I got. Got to ride with my guy Steph.
All right.
I'll stay biased. I'm staying biased on that one.
I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
I hope the Nuggets and the Warriors see each other in the Western Conference Finals.
Yes, that would
and
be a good one.
we can throw some money down or something.
I'll throw money down on that any day.
I got $5.
$5. The Warriors win. Stamped.
Give me $1, man.
Oh boy, I don't know. That's all I got.
That's
Did we
a wrap,
cover?
man.
We talked about my take on Jokic. Oh, you had a take on Jokic that you didn't tell me. I want to hear it because you didn't. When we were texting. I'm gonna pull that up real quick just to try and remind you.
What did I say?
Where is it?
I don't even remember what I was saying.
I said you're like. He certainly puts up numbers like that, but I have a different take on Jokic. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet.
Oh, we talked about it.
We
talked about it. It was the retiring thing.
Oh, shit.
Just out of nowhere. That was my take on Jokic.
Okay, I could see it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just really think that I've been thinking that thought has been in my head for a good month now of like, damn, this dude, like we are seeing an all-timer in front of us right now.
And tying both of our takes together, if he continues to play for a long time, like, a sustained career and doing what he's doing, I couldn't agree more with you. And you already mentioned it. It's not that you're saying he's one of, the GOAT at this point,
no.
But if his trajectory keeps going this way, I mean, who knows? Who knows what we could be talking about at the end of his career, but he's certainly showing that kind of generational type player.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. He's that type of guy. He really is. But like, yeah, other than that, that's you going. When's your next tournament?
End of June, into July. So it was.
Where are you guys going?
28th through the 1st. That one's in Denver. Or no. Yeah, that one is in Denver.
I think. pull up this app because I think
Come catch the
I'm
Colorado
going to,
Collective 15, you guys.
I'm going to, I believe, Sioux Falls next week. Where is this?
You guys make a lot of trips to Sioux Falls.
July 14th through the 16th. Are you guys going to be in a tournament in Denver, in Colorado?
Let me look.
Because it's in Denver.
Nope, but I will be the 21st through the 23rd.
Do you guys have anything going on the 14th to the 16th? Do you have anything going on the schedule?
I don't have a tournament that weekend. I could come up and see what's good.
No, we have a tournament in Denver that week. Oh, yeah, I was going to say that way.
That's what I'm saying.
We could record in person.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would be tough.
Yes. I want to do that now.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Let's brainstorm on that.
We can.
On that note.
Yep. That's all I got.
Episode 18.
Episode 18. You know where to find us: YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. Like, comment, subscribe. Hope y'all had a great week because I'm tired. It's sleepy time now. It's time for sleep.
Lay your body down.
I'm gonna hit the pillow and sleep good. I'm the sleepiest.
Slip.
I'm the sleepiest boy in the world right now.
Go to sleep.
Oh,
all right,
yep.
people.
All right.
We're out.
Have a good one.